here today with Jamaine, and he's a Muslim, and I'm just wondering, were you raised a Muslim?
No, I became Muslim when I was like 14, 15.
Okay. What made you change?
I got to a point where Christianity just wasn't, it just didn't sit right with me. I didn't agree with the whole Jesus is God, God's son, however which way you want to flip it.
Okay. I was interested in the Muslim culture, and especially about marriage. If you're interested in a lady, how do you go about proposing marriage? How does that work in the Muslim culture?
Well, there's various ways. People have various opinions on it, but the main thing is that you gotta have two witnesses to witness the marriage. You know, that's basically it. You gotta have the two witnesses. They gotta hear the proposal and the acceptance of the proposal.
Okay, and is this a certain dowry?
Yeah, you gotta have the dowry. It depends on whatever the female. I guess you could go off for like back in the days when you marry into a family. The family be like, all right, well, you have to give us 15 camels. So that's basically what it is. So whatever the female say, like, all right, for marrying me, this is what I want. And as a husband, you gotta get it. You gotta be able to. Marriage is a complicated thing because you gotta give the female whatever. It's basically the female is the protector of the home, per se, but they supposed to be the one that's being at home, you know what I mean, with the kids, this, that, and third. So whatever she wants, she got to get. You got to provide for her.
Okay. Now, you can have more than one wife.
Yes, you can have more than one wife. Our beloved prophet, peace be upon him, stated that only if you knew, only one is better for you, because even though you can have more than one wife, because you might be married to a wife that can't bear a child, so you might want kids, so you would take on another wife. But with that being said, you gotta be able to treat all equally, both wife equally. So you can't just say, all right, I'm gonna get this wife something and not get your other wife anything. So if you're able to treat them equally, take care of them equally, then more power to you.
Now, is there a certain limit of how many wives you can have?
You know, I believe it's only 4 or 5. One of them. I'm not quite sure. I think it's 4.
How many did Muhammad? How many wives did he have?
He had more than 5. I know that.
Okay.
But that was only for him. Muhammad, peace be upon him, took on wives. Not saying for sometimes he might do something so that the people at that time will understand a certain situation, like a wife might be a widow. And just so everybody know that it is acceptable to marry a widow, he would marry a widow. Then by him doing that, then everybody understand that, all right, you can marry a widow. So a lot of times he would marry a wife, or he'll take a wife on, just so that the people at that time and future generation will understand that it is acceptable to do so for this particular
Okay. What happens if it doesn't work out and you want a divorce? How does that work?
Well, divorce. I know all you have to do is I divorce you, I divorce you, I divorce you, and y'all basically divorced in Islam. But with that said, you still have to provide for the wife that you divorced for a period of time. I'm not quite sure what the period of time is for, but you can't just divorce and just be like, I'm done with you. Like just go your separate ways. No.
Let's say there's children. Who would the children go with? The mother or the father?
I'm not quite sure. I can't answer that because I'm not sure. But today day and age, like a lot of times when a Muslim get married, being as though marriage in Islam is not recognized in America, so when a Muslim get married, 9 out of 10 times they're gonna get married the American way, go down to a clerk of court, get their marriage certificate and so forth. You know what I mean? So with that being said, even if you get married, divorced Islamically, 9 out of 10 times you probably would have to get divorced the American way anyway, and y'all had to go through the custody, who get custody and so forth.
Do you know, do a number of Muslims that you know have more than one wife?
Yeah, I know like 2. I know 2 Muslims who have more than one wife. It's hard. Like, it's not as easy as people tend to seem. Like, oh, Muslims, they just want to marry more than one wife. No, it's not really like that. Like, there's a lot of things that go into it, and a lot of Muslims might not take on another wife due to they want to be fair. You know what I mean? If you can't be fair with both wives, then you shouldn't take on another wife. And then it's common, and then you don't have to, but it's common courtesy that you ask your wife that you with first, and let her know the situation, let her know why you want to take on the second wife. You know what I mean? Even though you don't have to, but it is said that you should to not have conflict.
Okay. Do you have any other comments on the marriage?
Marriage is marriage, man. It's all about what you make it. I don't plan on getting no divorce. I believe that when you're married, it's ups and downs, getting bad times, and you just gotta be willing and able to stick through them times, and know that the other person and yourself is gonna be there for each other. It's so easy for people to just get frustrated at the first little thing and just like, all right, well, this ain't working out, I want a divorce. Be it being a Muslim marriage or American marriage, it's all about making things work.
Is there a lot of split ups in Muslim marriages?
Yeah, there's a lot of split ups in Muslim marriage due to the fact because it's so easy to get divorced. But a lot of times people are so ignorant to the fact that they'll get divorced and they'll be done with the female or whatever the case may be, and not understanding, not knowing that you can't just divorce a woman like that and not be obligated to do your duty towards her for a certain period of time. You know what I mean? A lot of times guys don't know that, so they just divorce and just go about their separate ways, and the female don't know that. Because they wasn't taught the proper way. So.
Okay. I was just wondering if you could say something about some of the other cultural things. I guess one of the key things is you shouldn't eat pork.
You should eat pork. You must pray 5 times a day. That's obligatory upon all Muslims. You must fast once a year during the month of Ramadan. You must what is it you want to know?
Now, are you allowed to watch TV or go to movies?
You're not supposed to.
You're not supposed to?
No.
What about radio? Can you?
You're not supposed to.
Not listen to radio either.
You're not supposed to.
Okay. And
once again, we're so Americanized now that you will see Muslims listening to music and listening to radio, watching. Basically, well, it's different. It's different opinion. When it comes to television, it's different opinion. And Islam is deal with the majority, with the majority opinion, and the majority opinion is that because in Islam you're not allowed to have pictures. I mean, so that's basically like imitating the creation. So when you have a television, it's basically like a picture. So you're not supposed to watch television. I mean, you can listen to the radio. Let me take that back. You can listen to radio because that's just a broadcast and just voice. So when it comes to images, you're not supposed to watch images. But the radio is cool.
I see. Now, I guess with your wife, she's not Muslim. And is it all right for a Muslim to marry someone who isn't? Or?
It is all right. It is all. In Islam, it's stated that, well, some majority, some scholars states that as long as they are the people of the book, which is the Jew, you're allowed to marry a Jew or Christian. You gotta be the person of a book. You can't marry a fire worshiper. You know what I mean? And
Hindu,
you couldn't marry a Hindu.
Buddhist.
No. They wouldn't be married. They gotta be the people of the book. And a female cannot marry a non-Muslim because they say that because a female tend to adapt to the male counterpart, so it's easier for a man to persuade a female, you know what I'm saying, than a female to persuade a man, even though you might have some situation where a female power grips over a man and is strong, but 9 out of 10 times a man is the dictator in the relationship. He's supposed to be, so he's the stronghold. So when a Muslim woman marry a non-Muslim man, they tend to fall off. He might do certain things, and just because she want to please him, she might tend to fall back on certain obligations that she have to do to please her husband. To whereas though a Muslim man, he's gonna stand firm, and 9 out of 10 times it's more likely that he could probably, after talking, teaching her, whatever the case may be, and she'll become Muslim. So some scholars say that after a certain time period, you should divorce her if she don't become Muslim. So, you know.
I was just wondering about when do you go to the mosque? Is there a certain weekly time you're supposed to go? Or?
I mean, Jumu'ah is every Friday. That's a special congregation that all Muslims should attend. And I mean, you can go to the mosque. There's some people who spend all day in the mosque praying and reciting. You know, just like how Christians have Bible study and all this, and then third Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you know, Muslims do the same thing. They go to the mosque to pray, to read, to study, worship the Lord.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to say? Or?
No, not really.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for the interview.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.